others to join the class. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Right. So we are going to take a couple of minutes to wait for others. By 12:05, we are going to start the class.
Okay.
I hope you are you joining with your PC today?
Yes. I've been joining with my PC.
Oh, you've been joining with your PC.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So, um, in 1 minute more, we're going to start. So any other person that is joining later, they will be catching up through the videos, whatever it is they missed. Because we want to be consistent about we want to be consistent about our time. So good evening, Ayala. Welcome to class.
Yeah, good evening.
Happy New Week.
I wish you same. Thank you.
I hope your day has been fine so far.
Yeah, it's been good. Very fine. Thank you. Yes?
Yeah, fine. Anyway, it's good.
Okay. Hope we don't have network issues today.
It's not my fault now. We are both in Nigeria now.
Oh, okay.
Network issue is equal to light issue. Those two things, they will never ever leave Nigeria. They are follow come.
Right.
Follow come. So now that we have almost a full house, Samuel is also around. So I'm going to be doing a very quick recap of where we stopped last week for about, let's say, the next 4 minutes or so. And like I said, you can always call back my attention for any question whatsoever you have. And last week we started Excel, and then we talked about what Excel is and the interface, the Excel Windows environment. We talked about the important things that we need to know as an upcoming as a data analyst, data analytics enthusiast. The most important things that makes up Excel. And I think I need to also emphasize it again that when it comes to data analytics, it's just like mathematics or anything that has to do with calculation. There is no one way to achieve a task. The goal is, or the common goal is, to make sure your task is achieved. What is asked of you is achieved. And we are going to be proving that a lot in this class. We are going to be proving that a lot. Some people are going to be using one method, some people are going to be using another method, and we are all going to meet ourselves at the junction of the end result, right, of the front end. That's why I said this class is to demystify everything you've known before and also to validate the things you've also known before. So in our last class also, we also talked about what are columns and rows, and I said that and also cells too. And I said the cell is made up the cell is named according to the intersection of the column that is coming vertically and the row that is going from left to right and is moving horizontally. So the point of the intersection of both of them is called a cell, and a cell is named based on the column and the row that they intersect. And also, we talked about how Excel is a workbook, how Excel is a workbook on its own, and the different sheets we have inside an Excel workbook is what is relating or similar to having pages in an exercise book, right? And the columns and rows are like the 2B exercise books that we use in our kindergarten stuff, and they are some of the best pointers to how to use Microsoft Excel effectively. And also, we talked about the ribbon tabs, that is made up of different tabs. And inside inside those tabs, we have different sections. We have the home tab, the inserts, the page layout, formulas, data, review, the view tab, the developer, and so on, depending on the version of your Excel, and also depending on whatever table or data set you are working on. If we convert our data set to table, we are going to be having some additional tabs on our ribbon tab, and these additional tabs are going to be specifically working for the tables we are working with. So we also talked about the address bar. The address bar is another name for the name box, where we can see the name of an active cell. We also established the formula bar, and I said that the formula bar is more like the back end of where every action happens. The formula bar is like the back end of where every action happens. So we also talked about the file menu, where you can see different options for save and for editing and what have you, like that. So what else do we also talk about? We also talked about the quick access toolbar that gives you the status information of the Excel file you are working with. So, and also we were able to establish the fact that there is a command, a default alignment that every characters, be it text or values or dates or special characters, really, every characters, there is a position at which they align by default. And I also said that if for any reason a particular character is meant to be in a particular position, but it is not there, that means it is either the data analyst knows what he or she is doing and is acting and formatted it in such a way to suit whatever task the person wants to achieve, or the data set is actually dirty and needs to be cleaned. And if it needs to be cleaned, then you will do justice to it by reformatting the whole column to make sure it is standardized and it is validated too. It's standardized and validated. So today we are going to also, there's one thing that I need to add, and it is that everything we do as, let's even move away from data analytics now. Everything we do as someone that knows about computer, everything we do comes down to how well we can use a shortcut. Computer is all about shortcuts. That is getting a huge amount of tasks, getting it done with less stress and less time. Less stress, less time, less resources. That is why we call it automation. So our ability to effectively use shortcuts, to know what each shortcut stands for, and to be able to use them effectively is what is going to help us a lot. And it's also going to make you get used to how to use a computer effectively. And Microsoft Excel is no different. And these are some of the shortcuts that works with Microsoft Excel. Like I said, depending on the kind of PC you use. There are some PCs that before you use this F2, you have to hold down your function button on your keyboard. You hold down your function keyboard before you press your F2. before the F2 can become effective for you to like be able to enter a data in a cell. And there are some systems that all you need to do is just to press the F2 directly without pressing any other additional button to it. It goes directly. Same thing goes for your F4, but your escape, you don't need to press any function to that. It just goes. Your enter, you don't need anything to that. Tab, you don't need anything to it. Control Z, Control D, Control R, and so on and so forth. We are going to be making use of some of these shortcuts as we progress in the course. And also, we have a lot of shortcuts, really, a lot of shortcuts. And I think most of these shortcuts are what I use almost every time I work with Excel. And funny thing is, most of these shortcuts also works in every other Windows environment, not only Excel. It works with Microsoft Word, works with Microsoft PowerPoint, and so on. Even your ordinary desktop publishing, it works for it, like your Control Z, which is undo, your Control C, which is for copy, Control V for paste. So it works well with every one of these softwares, but most especially our the Microsoft Excel that we are going to be focusing on. So that being said, that is introduction to Excel in full. Everything you need to know about Excel in full. So far so good. If you have anything to ask, please don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to ask. So in light of any question, really, any question from anybody before we move on?
No.
Okay. I'll assume that that is none. There is no question. So very quickly, let's move on. So if you are joining with your PC, I will ask you to put on your Excel and open the worksheet, the Excel worksheet that is uploaded on the Google Classroom. I hope every one of us have access to it right now. Let me share it. Yes.
The Excel worksheet.
I hope you have access to the data set.
Yes.
That one.
mm,
Excel for data analytics, data cleansing. It is on the Google Classroom for every one of us to.
So one is a PDF, one is Microsoft Excel.
Yes, the PDF is the one that I just switched to the screen now. That I wrote that we have Pay Special. So we are going to be using both of them interchangeably. All of the information that we are going to carry out on this particular screen that you are looking at is available on that PDF also. So I was able to break every one of them down. I think the preparation of that material took me a lot of time. I actually put every one of my efforts there for people that are actually starting from the very, very basic. So everything you see in that PDF is what we are going to be carrying out in this particular data set. So this Excel worksheet this is going to be our workbook, and we are going to be writing inside this workbook, and we are going to be taking our questions from the PDF. I hope you understand.
Yes.
I hope we all understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to download it.
Yes, we understand.
Okay, and before I even do that, let me ask, how many of us are joining with our PC tonight? Apart from Julian has confirmed that he's with his PC. Mr. Ayala, are you with your PC?
Yes, I always join my PC.
Right. And you have access to the Excel file too?
Yes, it's opened already.
So, Sam.
Yes, I'm not joining with my PC today because I'm just cruising for work, but I will soon go to put on my PC.
All right, but you can just follow us to follow through whatever it is we are doing, right?
Yes, okay, sir. Yes.
All right. AC, good evening. You're welcome to class. Hello, AC.
I'm just putting on my system.
Okay. Should we wait for you or should we proceed?
No,
because I want every one of us to be on the same page. Can we proceed?
I'm trying to
proceed. I'm
trying
watching you from
to download the file, but I'm trying to download the file.
on Friday or
But
Saturday. Let me confirm.
Is it a Google Sheet file or Microsoft? Because I'm trying
it
to.
is it can open on Google Sheet. Every Microsoft Excel file can open on Google Sheet. Every Google Sheet file can open on Microsoft Excel, but you have to download it and then you go to your file manager and open it with Excel. Don't open it with Google Sheets because Google Sheets does not have an offline app. Google Sheets works online, and most of the and Excel has millions. Let me say thousands. Don't let me exaggerate it. Excel has thousands of functions that cannot even be compared to Google Sheets. So that is why Excel is much more widely used and generally accepted compared to Google Sheets. And moreover, you don't have where there is no offline version of a Google Sheet. So we are using Excel for the class. So have you been able to open with Excel?
Yeah, I'm just having difficulty downloading it. I'm not seeing the download link. Okay. Trying to see.
You are not seeing the
Trying to see if to show me a download link. Okay, I think I've seen it.
Have you opened the file? It has opened with Google Sheets, right?
Yes.
Okay, now just go to your export. You will see where you can export as Microsoft Excel.
You know what? I just I opened on another tab and it showed me link. I've opened it.
It showed you what?
I clicked on open another tab, like from the Google Classroom. I clicked on open another tab and then
it opened as Google Sheets.
It opened in Google Drive. Then from there, I now downloaded it.
Okay. So I just want to make sure you are you've opened it on your Excel so that we can move on.
Yes.
Okay. So having said that, we are going to be writing on every one of these worksheets that you are seeing right here. Every one of these worksheets, we are going to be writing on every one of them. We have from space special, which is the very basic of what we are going to be doing, to cell locking, to named ranges, and the different data cleaning process in Microsoft Excel. The different data cleaning process in Microsoft Excel. So let me share my let me go back to sharing my PDF. So we are going to be starting with paste special. Like I said, everything about Microsoft Excel has to do with the shortcuts. And one of the basic shortcuts that you need to know is the paste special shortcut. Like generically or by default, copying a file on any computer software, you have to use Ctrl+C, and to paste it, you have to use Ctrl+V. But when it comes to pasting in a special way in Microsoft Excel, we make use of the paste special shortcut. And the paste special shortcut is made up of 3 buttons on your keyboard. The Control plus the alternate and the V makes the paste special. The Control, the alternate, and the V. This is very basic of Excel, and it's one of the fastest way of getting things done. As a matter of fact, automating tasks in Excel, the fastest way, the easiest way, the basic way, and also the easiest way of getting things done in Excel. And the first thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be using doing all of these tasks one by one. So the first question that we have is how do you paste a value in a data set? How do you paste a value in a data set? And let me go back and share my screen, my Excel screen. Okay. I read my Excel screen now. My Excel screen has disappeared. Sorry. I'll have to reshare my. I'll have to reopen the file. Sorry. I don't know how this thing closed. So okay, so I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes.
So we are going to be doing each one of these tasks, and I want you guys to follow me and also call my attention if my attention is needed, if you don't understand anything. So the first one is we are going to be dealing with the problem 1A, and it's asking us how do we paste values in a data set. And if you look at this particular, let me call it a small data set, this particular portion of a data set. And what we call a data set is an Excel file that is made up of an Excel information or a group of information that is made up of, that is arranged in in column and rows. A group of information arranged in rows and column. We call it data, and you can also call it data set. Still the same thing, data or data set. But in terms of data analytics, I think it's much more preferable to call it the data set. We call it data set. So in this small data set that we have been tasked to do a multiplication table. We have been tasked to do a multiplication table in such a way that we want to do this first one, and then by the time we double click on our fill and do, Excel will do the rest for us automatically. And we want to do it in such a way that we are going to be using paste special to copy everything we get here, every of our results here, and paste it here. We will first of all carry out this multiplication table, that is 10 multiplied by 2, which is going to give us 20. We don't want to do 10 multiplied by 4. We want to do 10 multiplied by 2 and let Excel do the rest for us automatically after the rest of the answers has been gotten. So we are going to copy everything and then we are going to paste it here using paste special. I hope you all understand me. So
Yeah.
the first thing is, like I said, if you want to perform anything in Excel whatsoever, what character do you start with? If you want to do anything in Excel at all, what do we start with? Anybody?
What do you start with?
No.
Say, what do you start
What do we?
with?
Yes. What is the first thing we are going to do if you want to perform anything, or if you want to write anything to an Excel cell?
I think we're going to start with equals to.
Equals to. Thank you very much. So I'm going to say equals to. Oh, sorry. I think this cell is locked. This file is locked. Chai, I'm coming. Sorry. So if we are having this problem, please let me know on time. I think the file is passworded or something.
Is a protected sheet.
Yeah, I think it is. So let me see. Okay, let me unprotect it and at there. Oh man, don't do this to me today. Oh no, I got carried away so much. This is because of copyright. Oh shit. Sorry, let me figure it out. I have a place where okay. I think I remember.
I think if you right click on the
What?
sheet, and if you right click on the sheet,
Yeah, I've unlocked it. So if please, I want everybody to unlock theirs too. I want everybody to try and attempt to type anything into the cell. If it is not working, or if it is asking for a password, then right click on the sheet, on the worksheet. When you right click on the worksheet, you will see unprotect sheet. Unprotect sheet. So if it is asking for a password, the password is at TerraSkills 2 at TerraSkills. Let me type the password so that we can see it on my screen. The password is at TerraSkills 2 at. Let me make it I know it's not valid. Oh no. So this is the password. This is the password. So everyone, I want us to be on the same page. At TerraSkills 2 at. So have we been able to unlock it?
yeah.
Okay. So which means we can move on. So in case subsequent cells ask for password, this is the password. We do this because of copyright issues. At least you have the right to whatever it is you make or you produce. So please, for those that are not joining with our PC right now, or for those that are not working with their PC right now, I would like us to get this password down. Or better still, you are still going to get access to the class videos too, so you can still always go back to it. So, so let's go to achieving the task. So what we want to do is we want to do a multiplication table in such a way that we are going to multiply 10 by 2, and then it's going to give us the answer here. We don't want to do the rest we don't want to do it manually by saying 10 times 2, 20, and all those stuff. We want to do 1 and let Excel do the rest for us while we copy our result here, and then we paste it in this place using paste special and pasting only the values. So that is what is asked of us. So we start with equals to, and I am going to be using what I call cell referencing. Cell referencing is when normally I know what I have here is just 10 and what I have here is 2. So I can easily say 10 multiplied by 2. But I don't want to do that because if I do that, Excel is not going to understand how to perform the automation. Excel will believe that, oh, so you want to do it on your own. That is why you didn't actually use the cell names. So using the cell names is what we call cell referencing. We are still going to talk extensively on cell referencing. So using the cell names, I'm going to say D9 equals to D9 multiply by
D10.
C.
Okay.
Is it D10? No, it's D9. Yeah. Cell D9 multiplied by cell C10. So if I hit enter, so that is done for me right now. But there is something to it. I said, what if I have thousands of these things to perform? Will I be doing it one by one? No. So that is where I'm going to employ the automation part of Excel, function of Excel. And normally I have done 1 correctly. So ideally, if I double click on my field handle here, I bring my cursor to this dot here on this field handle and I double click on it, Excel is going to automatically do the rest for me. But you are going to notice that this thing is not correct. The rest of the results are not correct. Only the first one is correct. So instead of Excel to do 10 multiplied by 4, which is going to give me 40, Excel instead assume that I want to use whatever is underneath this 10 to multiply whatever I have on my column C. And that is why Excel keeps moving down, keeps moving down, and keeps moving down. But I don't want that. So that is what is going to take me to the first type of cell referencing, which is what we call mixed referencing. Mixed referencing. So I'm going to undo using Ctrl Z, and then I'm going to come to my formula bar here. Now, what is mixed referencing? Let me jump a little to the future. Let me jump to the future a little bit so that we are going to understand this very well, and we are going to grab it all at once. We're going to grab it all at once. So let me reshare my material, my PDF. So let's jump to page 21 on the PDF and go to cell referencing. Cell referencing. So we have cell referencing, like I said, is the moment you know that you cannot be doing every one of your tasks, you cannot be doing it one by one, you want to need automation. And that is where cell referencing comes in, because if you are doing your tasks one by one, you can independently be calling on each content of the cells. But you don't want to do that because you are going to be working on a large scale data set. You are going to be working with data set that is as big as 100,000 or more. So that is where your cell referencing is going to be useful. And cell referencing is when you use the cell names instead of using the cell content itself. Cell referencing is using the cell names instead of using the cell content. And we have three types of cell referencing. We have relative referencing, we have relative cell references, we have mixed cell referencing, and we have absolute cell referencing. Relative cell reference, mixed cell reference, and absolute cell reference. The easiest one is the relative cell reference, and this relative cell reference does not contain any $sign. It does not contain any $sign. So wherever you see an Excel cell and you see any $sign, that means that particular column or that particular row has been blocked from moving. It has been blocked from moving. But let's talk about relative cell reference. Relative cell reference is when you didn't lock you give your row and your column, you give it free movement, just like we've done in our Excel. In this 10 multiplied by 2 that I just did right now, I didn't put any lock on both the row and the column. So I let them move freely. That is why I got the first one correctly, but by the time I try to automate the rest, I am getting something that is wrong. Like it is multiplying itself exponentially, which means the column keeps moving down and the row keeps moving rightward. The columns keep moving down and the row keeps moving rightward. I didn't put any lock in it at all. So that is what relative cell referencing means. Relative cell referencing is the default of all cell referencing. It is the default of all cell referencing. Unless otherwise you now apply a particular lock to it, that is when it becomes either mixed or absolute. Relative cell referencing is the default, just like you calling on cell D10 multiplied by cell C9. So relative cell referencing types in Excel change when a formula is copied or dragged to another cell. In Excel, cell referencing is relative by default. It is most commonly used cell referencing in the formula. It is the most commonly used. And as an example, to calculate the total sales of each item, we need to multiply the price of each item with the quantity. The formula in cell F10 will be multiplication in Excel, right? So, for instance, this is a data set that has been sent to you by a pharmacist or a client that deals with something that has to do in the healthcare system, because the names of these products are drugs or injections or I don't know. So your client has sent this data set to you and ask you to help them use to help them find the total sales value. And normally we know that the total sales value is the quantity, the amount of quantity that was sold multiplied by the price that each one of this quantity was sold. The total sales value is the amount, the quantity of protein that was sold and the price for each one of the kerosene. So which means in interpretation, it means 144 kerosene was sold, and one kerosene was sold as at the cost of 55. We don't know whether it is naira or dollar. You can use your discretion for that. But a single kerosene cost 55, and 144 of kerosene was sold, which means we need to find the total sales value. So who can tell me if we want to determine the total sales value for kerosene now? What is going to be the formula? What is going to be the formula that is going to be in this cell F10? What is going to be the formula? Anybody?
Is equals to D10 times E10.
Equals to I can't hear you.
D10 equals to D10 times E10.
D10 multiplied by E10. And then for the next one, which is Dolo, is going to be it can be E10 before D10. It can be D10 before E10. Anyhow you do the arrangement, it goes in the relative cell referencing. But when you move to absolute cell referencing and mixed cell referencing, things change, and you understand there are rules to follow to carry out your automation. So let's move down. If you move to the next page, you are right with your formula. If you look at the formula bar here, so our D10 multiplied by E10 gives us our total sales value. And now instead of doing the rest one by one, all you have to do is just to come to your fill handle here and double click, and Excel will do the rest for you automatically. And to check a relative cell a relative reference, select any of the cells of total sales, of the total sales value in column F, and you can view the formula. That is the back end. All you did correct was the first one, and Excel did the rest for you automatically. So which means if you keep moving down to check the formulas, you see that the cells keep moving. We started with D10 and E10. And then when you select any cell here, you see that by the time we moved, it moved to D14 and E14, which means whatever it is we are seeing here is a product of D14 and E14 multiplied together. So I want us to get that concept of referencing. Now, talking about absolute referencing now. Talking about absolute referencing, in this, we are still going to be using the same data set. Now, it is a product table. It contains medicine products, like I said, in column H, H6 to H12. That is from column H6 to column H12. And its old price in column I1 to I12. And new price in column J now, which I need to find the to find out with the help of the absolute cell referencing. So, and we want to increase this data set. The client has sent the data set to you and told you that, okay, the old price for our kerosene is 55. For our Dolo, it is 64. Carpol is 49. Pasimol is 53. Now, you are the data analyst, you are the guru. So we want to add 5%. We want to increase every of our products by 5%. 5% of the old price. Right? And we have thousands of products, really. So what we want you to help us do is, for every product, we want you to help us add 5% to it. And you have a delivery time. You cannot be doing it one by one. That is when you make use of absolute cell referencing. So this is the data. This is where we are going to compute the new prices. And this is the 5% that we need to add to this old price to give us the new price. So moving on to the next page, to calculate the new price for each of these items, we need to multiply the old price of each item with the percentage increase, that is the 5%, and add it and add the old price to it. So let's check out for the first item, which is our kerosene. For the first item, the formula in cell J6 will be equals to I6 and then K into $3. Now, let me explain this. If you look at the formula bar for this particular, for this first one here, look at the formula bar. The formula is saying that the first thing we need to do is equals to, and then we call on the I6, that is our old price. We are going to multiply the I6 by the new, the 5% increment that we want to do it, that I want to add to it, which is 5% here, which is on cell K3. That is why we have K3 here. If you look at this K3, but you will see something that is unique to this K3. There is $sign that is assigned at the back of K, and then there is also a $sign that is assigned at the back of 3. And then there is no $sign at all assigned to the I6. There is $sign that is assigned to this K3 here, where our 5% is. That is, this $sign is trying to tell Excel that, okay, I have a lot of these tasks to do. So what I am going to do is I want to do one correctly, and I want you to do the rest for me automatically. But I'm going to do it following your own rules. And the rule I am going to be giving you is that you are going to use this particular 5% here to multiply everything that I have in this old price, and you are going to give me this new price accordingly by the time I double click on my fill undo. So what I'm going to do is that this my K here, this my 5% here, you know that a cell is an intersection of a row and a column, which means every cell is named using the column name and the row name. So that is what made this 5% here, the position of this 5% to be K3. So putting $sign behind K is trying to tell Excel that, okay, Excel, this particular cell is standing alone. There is nothing underneath it. There is nothing left ways, and there is nothing right ways. So which means this particular cell is standing alone. I want you to lock it, because if I don't lock it, by the time I try to move down on these new prices, this guy will also want to move down with me. And you know I have empty here, which means Excel is going to assume that these empty are also zeros. So I'm going to be, if I don't lock this particular cell, as this cell moves down, I am going to be getting the same consistent answer that I got for the first one, whereas the old prices are different. So I want you to keep using this 5% to multiply these old prices and then give me as a new price. So in that case, I want you to restrict the movement of my K, that is the movement of my column. I want you to restrict my column from moving down. You know, column can only move from up to down. It can only move vertically. So I want you to put $sign behind K. And putting $sign behind K means my K cannot move down. This cell cannot move down. Put $sign behind 3 too. That is this row. That is, this row cannot move to the left. Neither should it move to the right too. I want both of them to stay there. Don't move. Stay there. Don't move. So this is what we call absolute cell referencing. Absolute cell referencing means restricting your cell from moving column-wise or row-wise. You lock it completely. Absolute cell referencing means restricting the movement of your cell both column-wise and row-wise. I hope we understand what I'm trying to say. Please, if you are confused or I'm moving too fast, please let me know so that I can move slower at your own pace.
So this absolute cell reference, is it like how you have like a constant in mathematics or physics? Like one
Yes.
number that should not change.
Yes.
Or should be used to multiply.
Yes, exactly. Yes. This is still a simple case of absolute cell referencing. We are still going to be moving as the class progresses. We are going to be moving to the advanced case of absolute cell referencing. This is a single case of cell referencing, and this particular cell referencing is used a lot in data analytics, especially absolute cell referencing. It is used a lot, both absolute and mixed. It is used a lot. So I want us to please understand it before we move on. We've not used it. I'm still trying to show us an example. We are still going back to use it by ourselves. So having logged our K now, haven't locked our K now. Let's see what the end result is going to be. Now, we have locked our K and we have hit enter. So we got 57.75 for the new price of Crossing. And the way we got it is that, you know, if we want to get 5% of something, it means we are going to multiply this new price, this old price, we are going to multiply it by this 5%. And 5% is the same thing as 0.05. Abi. So 0.05 multiplied by 5, 0.05 multiplied by 55 is going to give us what? 2.75, right? So Excel is now going to automatically add that 2.75, add it with this old 5, add it with this old 55, and that is why it gives us 57.75. And then now that we've done one correctly, by the time we now click on we double click on our fill handle, let's see what the end result will be. Okay, by the time we double click on this cell fill handle, the rest is going to be done automatically for us. So this is what absolute cell referencing means. I want us to understand it before we go and practicalize it. Please, any question on absolute cell reference before we move to the mixed cell reference? So if there is no question, so here now, the percentage rate increase for each product is 5%, which is a common factor. It is a common factor. So therefore, we have to add dollar symbol in front of the row and the column number for the cell K3, which is what we've done to make it absolute reference.
Okay, let's ask.
You said what?
Let's ask.
Okay.
Let's ask. So if you don't lock it, let's assume
Yes.
you use the
Relative reference.
let's assume you use K3 instead of $K $3.
Yes.
If you
So
use
by the time
K3,
you double fill, by the time you autofill down here, this guy too will keep moving down.
K5, K6, K7.
Yes. And you know there is nothing on every other K. It is 0, which means what you are going to get throughout here is what? 57.75. And you know these prices varies.
Yes.
So that is the implication of not locking the K3 now. I hope you understand now.
Yes.
Okay. So here, the dollar sign for the cell K3 fixes the reference to a given cell. Don't move, where it remains unchanged no matter when you copy or apply a formula to the other cells. So that is the job of the dollar sign. That is the job of the dollar sign. So if we moving to mixed cell referencing. Now, mixed cell reference is a little different from absolute cell reference. You know, in relative cell reference, we don't lock at all. In absolute cell reference, we lock both the column and the row. But in mixed cell reference, mixed cell reference has to do with when you are working with 2 or more columns, or 2 or more cells, I mean. Mixed cell referencing has to do with when you are working with 2 or more cells. Mixed cell reference works with has to do with when you are working with 2 or more cells. So in this data set here, we have just like what we are about to practicalize on our workbook is the same thing that we are going to be applying for this particular one too. So this is a data set here. On this row, we have 1, 2, 3. This is more like a multiplication table, the one that is always at the back of our exercise book. So we want to do it in such a way that we want to do 1 multiplied by 1 is going to give us 1. 2 multiplied by 1 is going to give us 2. 3 multiplied by 1 is going to give us 3. 1 multiplied by 2 will give us 2. We want to multiply everything on this row. We want to multiply it with everything that is on these columns and want it to give us the right answer, respectively. That is where our mixed cell referencing comes in. So let's move to the next page. Now, There are two types of mixed cell referencing that can be used to get this particular output here. And don't forget, the goal is do one correctly and let Excel do the rest for you automatically. That is the goal. Do one correctly and leave the rest to Excel. Excel will do it correctly, provided that the first one you did is correct. Excel is going to follow the rule of the first one and apply it on the remaining thousands and do it for you. So if we move on, now you will notice that the way we apply our dollar sign here is different from the way we apply it in the absolute cell referencing. And I said that mixed cell referencing works, happens or is used when you are working with more two or more cells. Mixed cell referencing is used when you are working with two or more cells. Now, this time around, we are working with two cells. We are working with two cells. That is, we want to use these rows to multiply these columns, and we want them to give us our answers respectively. So, which means if I am multiplying 1 multiplied by 1, that is, I am multiplying cell E21 by cell D22. I am using cell E21 to multiply D22. Or I can say I am using the cell D22 to multiply cell E21. I am using cell D22 to multiply F21. I'm using cell D22 to multiply G21. I hope it is clear to this extent. I want to be clear on my explanations before we move on. So now we start with, look at the formula here now. So we started with D because we are using D to multiply everything that is on the column, everything that is on this row. So we say D22 multiplied by E21. Now, in the first cell, that is in this cell D, we placed our dollar sign behind column D, but there is no dollar sign behind 22, row 22. There is dollar sign behind column D. There is no dollar sign behind row 22. And then when we move to the second cell, we didn't put any dollar sign behind column E, but we put dollar sign behind row 21. Now, this is how cell referencing works. If you are working with two or more cells, in as much as you are locking in one cell, you are going to lock the column. In the second cell, you are going to lock the row. So if you have locked the row in one cell, that means you are going to automatically be locking the column in the next cell. If you are locking the column in the first cell, you are going to be locking the row in the second cell. And this is what we've applied here. You can rearrange this and put your dollar sign behind 22 here. So if you are putting your dollar sign behind 22 here, it means your E is what is going to get your dollar sign here. In mixed referencing, you can't lock both the row and the column. That makes it absolute cell reference. And that is what we've tried to do here. So by the time we hit enter in this place now, all you have to do is just to go to your fill and do and drag it across everywhere you want your Excel to fill it. The moment you hit your enter here, you hold down your fill and do here and drag it across everything you want Excel to fill for you here. And then you will see the magic. You will now see that 3 multiplied by 3 is going to give you 9 here. And all you did was to get this first one correctly. Here, the dollar sign before the D indicates that only the row number can change. That is, I want to keep using this guy. I want to use it to multiply everything here. So when it gets to this first to anything that is on row 22, I want you to move to the side. Don't move down. Anywhere that when it gets to row 22 here, I want you row 22. You can move to the side. You have the freedom to move. But you see, column D, stay where you are. Don't move. And on the second cell, I want you, E21, I want you to move your E can move down. E, you are free to move down. But you see, you, row 21, you are not allowed to move to the side because we have something on this side. Please, do you guys understand? Please let me know if I'm doing magical. So when you copy the formula to the right side, the reference will not change. That is why this D is locked. If we drag it to this side like this, the reference will not change. That is, this D will not move. But you see this 22 here is going to move to the side, but this D cannot move down. That is why we put the dollar sign behind D. And in the same vein, when we move this, we can drag this one, we can drag it down, but we cannot drag it to the side because the cell beside it are also occupied with different data. So when you copy the formula to the right side, the reference will not change because it is locked. But when you copy it down, the row number will change because it is not locked. And the same thing for the second one. So if you are locking the column on one cell, you are going to be locking the row on the other cell. If you are locking the column on one cell, you are going to leave the row to move freely. And when you get to the next cell, you are going to let the column to move freely and lock the row. So now, let's go and practicalize everything that I've been saying since. So let me switch back to my Excel workbook now. And I want everyone to also follow me, please. This is where we can practicalize. This is why I like practical than explanation. So let's go back to what we want to do now. Let's go to what we want to do now. So, is anybody saying anything?
No.
Okay. So now, just like we've demonstrated in that example that I've showed us, it is the same thing we want to apply here now. The only difference is just that we don't have any 5% or whatever. We want to start from the very, very basic, the smallest, the easiest one. So now, what we want to do is we want to use this 10 to multiply every one of these items here, right? So who can tell me which of the cell referencing is going to work effectively here? Remember, the first one we want to do is just to do the first one correctly and let Excel do the rest for us automatically by just clicking on this filler handle. And if we start from the relative cell referencing, if I say equals to D10 or D9 multiplied by C10 and I hit enter, I didn't put any log there, which means I am only working with relative cell referencing. So if I double click on this now, you see that relative referencing does not really have sense. It just works on its own. It works on assumption. And what relative cell referencing is doing is that relative cell referencing keeps moving down. It keeps moving this 10 downward and keeps moving these 2 sideways. So relative cell referencing is assuming that since 10 multiplied by 2 is 20, that means 20 multiplied by 4 will also be 80. And we don't want that. We want 10 to do justice to every one of these guys here. So that is why we are now going to apply mixed cell referencing to get this done. So it's going to be equals to, I am using this cell D9 to multiply every one of these guys here. So I'm going to say D9 multiplied by C10. So which means I am working with 2 cells. So who can tell me where do I need to put my dollar sign between these 2 cells and why? Anybody? I think I'm going to be giving out.
You're putting it in front of the D, in front of D9.
Okay, I'm putting dollar sign in front of D9. According to dollar sign in front of D9, and is that all?
Yeah.
He put in front of the 9. Put in front of the
I
9.
can't hear you. I
Can
don't
you hear me?
understand.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You said I need to
So
put
you
dollar
put
sign
it
behind D.
in front of D9 and behind D.
I should put it in front of D and also put it in front of 9 too,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if that is going to let's see if that is going to work. Interesting. So is that all? Is that all?
Yes.
Can I hit my enter now and see?
Yes.
Okay, so if I hit my enter, normally the first one will always be correct. But if I double click on my field undo now, let's see. And voila, it is correct. It is correct. I think, do you guys understand what we are trying to do here now? Please, if you are not clear, please just call my attention. I will explain. I am here for you. Do we understand what we just did now?
So the thing is that because 10 is on one side.
Yes. And 10 is standing alone. There is
Mm.
nothing underneath 10.
And
So that is
and
why
it
we
seems 10
restrict
is
the movement
multiplying
of 10.
everything.
Yes, and we are using 10 to multiply everything. Now you get the idea. Do you understand now?
Mhm.
So, can we use mixed referencing for these two?
Clear.
Yeah. Listen, should we go over it again?
Yes,
Hello?
please. Yes, please. Just that my network is fumbling. Yes,
Hello?
fumbling is going on. I can hear you now.
We can
I
hear
think
you.
she's
We
not
can hear you.
okay.
I
I
can hear you
just want
now.
to know if anybody has problem with this before we move on. But because this is the very, very basic of what we are about to do. Data analytics is easy and it is not easy. But if you grab this particular concept here, you are good to go. This is the beginning of the problem. And I'm going to be giving us an assignment on it too. So I want us to understand this concept very, very well before we meet on Wednesday. So do I need to go back on this or should we move on?
So
And also, can we
okay.
apply mixed referencing on this? Because the only thing we've done here is just absolute referencing. We locked one particular cell and we left the other one to move freely. I should go back again to it, Abby. Okay, so I will say equals to, we are using 10 to multiply everything on cell C, on column C, which means column C10, C11, C12, and C13. So we are using 10 to multiply every one of them. Now, I want you to notice something that column C has neighbors. Column C has neighbors underneath it, that is from 2 to 4 to 6 and 8. But column D does not have anything. And we are using column D to multiply column C to get other neighbors for column D too. Which means this guy is standing alone. Which means we can use mixed absolute cell referencing to restrict the movement of cell D9 because there is nothing underneath and there is nothing sideways of it. That is why we have to restrict the movement so that by the time we move to the next one, cell D9 will use itself to multiply this guy again. By the time we move to the next one, cell D9 will still use itself to multiply this guy again. That is 10 multiplied by 40 by 4 should give us 40. 10 multiplied by 6 should give us 60. And 10 multiplied by 8 should give us 80. Do you understand it now, Ese? So I will say equals to cell D9 multiply by cell C10, and I would now I will lock my cell D10 absolutely. I want somebody to try it. We want to know whether mixed cell referencing can also work in this too. So I'm going to be locking my cell D absolutely. And locking absolutely means putting a dollar sign behind both your column and your row. Remember, column is your alphabet that is moving downwards, and row is your value moving rightward. So that is why I'm locking the two. And then if I hit enter, and then if I come back to this first one, I come back to the first one and double click on my field undo. Assuming I have thousands, you see, the moment you double click on this thing like this, Excel does not care. In as much as the first one is correct, the remaining thousands will be done automatically in seconds or less than the second itself. depending on how fast you press your you double click. So we have used absolute cell referencing here now. So I want us to see whether our mixed cell referencing can work on these two. So I'm going to say again that equals to cell D9 multiplied by cell D C10. Now, who can tell me how we are going to apply our relative cell mixed cell referencing here now? Anybody? Let's say we want to apply mixed cell referencing now. How are we going to apply it? Where do we need to put our dollar signs? Anybody? So
you for the column, that's the D, sorry, the D9 for the column,
okay,
right?
okay. We are going to be locking the
you put
column.
it,
That is, we are going to be locking the D,
yeah,
right? Okay, so let me
yes,
put that. Okay. So which means we can't do, when we are talking about mixed referencing, we can't lock both the row and the column. We have to lock one and let the other one move freely. And then on
yeah.
the second cell now, what are we going to lock now? We are going to lock the 10. One column, one row. One column, one row. If we are locking C here, we are going to be locking 9 here. If we are locking D here, we are going to be locking 10 here. So this is mixed referencing. We have locked D. That is, we have locked D from moving downwards. But 9, that is this cell, row 9 can move to this side. Can only move to the side. And then we have let cell C to move freely. I like this. This is actually good. And then we have locked row 10 to stay where it is because there is nothing sideways for row 10. So which means if this thing keeps moving down, there is not going to be movement sideways. There is only going to be movement downwards. So if I hit my enter, and then if I now double click on my fill handle here, you can see where the problem lies now. That mixed referencing cannot, okay, don't let us assume that you can see that mixed referencing only worked halfway before it starts misbehaving. That is, 10 multiplied by 2 was 20, good. Excel still assumed that, okay, 10 multiplied by 4 gives us 40. But when it got to 10 multiplied by 6, gave us 80. Which means when Excel got here, Excel started moving, assuming that, okay, there is something that is here. That is 2 started multiplying, or 4 multiplied 10 here and gave us 80, which is not supposed to be so. So let's change our arrangements now. Since we tried locking cell column here and we left our row to move, and we locked our row here and we left our column to move, let's try and interchange it again. Let's leave our column to move freely here and lock our row. Let me lock my row, and since I've done that, which means let me start from the beginning so that it's not going to be confusing. Let me delete this ones. So let me go back to this and edit. So I'm going to be getting rid of my column lock. I'm going to be locking my row here, and I'm going to be getting rid of my column here, and then I'm going to be locking my row. You can see I have changed the dynamics of the formula now. If I click enter, now let me go and autofill again and see. You can see now. Please, is there anybody that can explain what is going on here now? Anybody, please? Hello?
So okay, the formula, right?
Yes. The way you understand it, just explain the way you understand it. This is another form of absolute cell referencing, but it is just that it takes the combination of 2 cells.
So let
me just explain that.
You're locking the row.
Okay.
You're locking 9
that is, I am locking this D. That is, I'm locking this 10 from moving down, because 10 can only move down. And I'm locking this 9. I'm locking this 9 from moving to the side, because 9 holds the row. I'm locking this 9 from moving to the side. But I am leaving the D, that D can move down, and we actually need it to move down. This is what this first one here means. I am telling 10 to not go to the left. Don't go to the left, but you can go down. Don't go to the left, don't go to the right. That is why I am putting a restriction on the row 9. Don't go to the left or the right. Stay where you are in terms of your left or rightward position or movement. But you can move down. According to column D, you can move down. Now, when we get to the second cell, I am telling column C that column C, I don't want you to move down. Don't move down. There are other occupants underneath you. So don't move down. But you are free to move to the left or to the right.
And
So
so
that is the
basically,
meaning of
what I understand from what you just said is, when you say don't move down or you are free to move to the left or the right, what I understand is, okay, you are moving to the left, from the left to the right, but you remain so
on the
C10,
single line.
C10 is 2, right? You are
Yes,
going to be
yes,
moving from the left to the right, but you are going to be moving, if you move from where you are to the next cell, you are going to still remain 2. 2,
yes. You are still
2,
going to remain
2,
very
2,
well.
2, 2. You will not change.
You will
Don't
not
move
change.
down. You don't have any business moving down, right?
Yes,
All
yes,
the only business you have is to move left or right. And when you are moving
yes.
left or right, you will remain 2
You
at
remain 2.
every. If you move one, if you go to the next cell on your right, you are going to be 2. If you go to the next
Yes,
cell, you'll be 2. Forget about down. And so to make it move to be 2 on the right is to lock the particular cell address that 2 is in.
yes. The C.
The
So
C.
yes, we have restrict you from moving down, because there are other guys underneath you. But you are free to move to the side. And it is the
So,
same thing for this guy here too, that you are not free to move to any side. You are not free to move to any side, but you are free to move down. So if this one is coming here and this guy is coming down, they are always going to intersect here. Do you understand now?
okay, and you are putting the dollar sign based on how you want them to move. So if I don't want you to move down, that will determine whether I will put the dollar sign in front of, because D is the column, like for 10 now,
Yes.
D is the column and 9
Yes.
is the row.
Is the row.
So if I
Yes.
don't want you to move down, because D
I
is
will
the
lock the
column, I
block.
will lock the.
Yes. I will put
lock
the dollar
D
sign
if I don't
behind the
want you
letter.
to move. No.
Yes.
If I don't want you to move down, what it means is that if I say I don't want you to move down, what I think what you mean is that you can move down, but you are just 10, 10, 10. If you are
Yes,
moving
you are
down,
going to stay constant. You are going to stay constant with whatever it is you are.
okay. So that means you are moving down, but you are moving down as 10. You are not, because normally with that fill handle, when you are moving,
Yes.
when it is moving down, it is supposed to make use of the value that is in the next cell and the next one. But since there
And
is
the
no
next
value,
one.
or I don't want you to use any value, I want you to use you that is 10. Be 10. You are 10 now in this cell. In the cell below you, also be 10. In the cell below you, also be 10. So I'm going to lock you so that you will be 10 as you are moving to each cell down.
Yes. The truth is, this is going to take a lot of practice. So I have a lot of practice for us. Originally, we have used absolute cell referencing and it worked perfectly. But what about the case of, trying to be sophisticated, right? You want to try other measures. That is why I try to make use of this mixed cell referencing. Like I said, there is no one way to achieve a task. If absolute cell referencing is what you know and you understand, use it and move on. If mixed cell referencing is what works for you, use it and move on. If both is what works for you, use them. Anyone.
Yeah.
So just for the sake of versatility, that is why I'm trying to make use of both so that we can understand their application. We are still going to have extensive application of these two. For instance, you are going to be doing this particular assignment where you are going to be doing a multiplication table and you are going to be using cell referencing. So if you practice very well, you understand that this thing is actually the simplest here. So I'm going to do it one more time and then we are going to carry out our pace special. Please, the rest, any question, everybody, any question before I move on. Ese, Mr. Ayala, who else? Who else do we have on the call? We have Saleh, Mustafa. Please, any question whatsoever. Do you understand what we've said, what we've done? And Sam, please, any question whatsoever.
So it's possible that we might not understand now, but as we
Yes.
do it repeated, I think understanding comes from doing something repeatedly, not just doing it once.
Exactly. And there are tasks that is going to help you practice it repeatedly so that you are going to be consistent about it. So I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to make use of absolute cell referencing to do
Okay,
this and
can you, maybe it's because I don't know, is it possible for you to make it, maybe I don't know, maybe because your window is kind of small, so maybe
okay, is it small? Hey, sorry, let me make it, let me zoom in, let me zoom in. Thank you. How about this? Is it good?
Yeah, so if it's bigger, maybe you can see it better.
How about this now?
Yes,
is it better?
Fine.
Okay, let me put that 170. So again, I'm going to be making use of absolute cell referencing for this now. So I'm going to say equals to cell D10. What's going on? Equals to sorry, I'll have to close this guy down and reopen it again. Is it because I zoomed in? Okay. Please, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, is it bold enough?
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to say equals to cell D10, D9 multiplied by cell C10. And then I am going to be, because I am using 10 to multiply everything that I have on column C. That is why I am going to restrict the movement of 10 completely. That is, just stay where you are while you make reference to the rest of these guys here. So I'm going to be using absolute cell referencing. And if you want to use,
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
absolute
Hello?
cell referencing,
No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
and you want to use a shortcut. Hello?
We could not hear you for like 4 minutes
4 minutes?
or 3 minutes. You said
Oh,
if
my
you
network.
when you
Hey,
said if you
sorry,
want
my
to
network.
use, when you were saying if you want to use, that's when we stopped
Okay, my
hearing
network
you.
went off. Sorry. Okay, can you still see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so let me go back to it. So if you want to use your absolute cell referencing, if you don't want to be pressing your dollar sign one by one, that is when your shortcut comes in. Your F4. F4 is absolute cell referencing. But in F4 on your keyboard is absolute cell referencing. Like I said, for some systems, you are going to need to hold down your function key before you press your F4, before it works. Whereas for some systems, just press your F4 and it moves directly. For instance, my own kind of system, if I press F4, it doesn't work directly. But if I hold down my function button and press my F4, you will see that it applied dollar to both the row and the column immediately. So this is absolute cell referencing now. I only press this one. I don't have to, I didn't have to be pressing my dollar one by one. I only press it once. I'm going to do it again. So this is where I want to place my dollar sign for both my column and my row to apply absolute cell referencing. All I have to do is just to press function F4 on my keyboard. F4 is the shortcut for absolute cell reference. So, and then I'll hit enter. So, and then I will select on the first one and then double click down. Please, do we understand this particular guy here? This one that I just did, do we understand?
Yeah, I think the F4 is, I think, is dependent on where the cursor was as at the time you clicked on F4.
Yes. If it's not possible for you to want to apply absolute cell referencing on C, on this cell C, and then you now go and put your cursor on D. No, it doesn't work that way. If you want to lock C, you put your cursor anywhere around C and then press your F4. For instance, my cursor is at the back of my 0, which means everything that I have here still belongs to cell C. So I can just press my F4 here and then you will see. But I don't need it. So I hope that is clear now.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So no, I think are we going to do like a recap of what we did, like this stuff, the next time we come for the class?
Yes, we are. We are going to
But
do
I
a
feel
recap,
like,
but you are still going to have access to the video. You can still go over and try to practicalize everything that I have done. Don't worry, we are going to do this. We are going to do example 1B. We are going to do problem 1B. You are going to do it by yourself so that you can understand it. And you are going to do it before we end the class. Do you understand?
yeah.
So now that we've done this first one, now we need to use our paste special. The question said, how do you paste the values of a data set? Now, everything we have here are values, and you see that every one of these values are a product of a particular formula. They are a product of a particular formula that happens at the back end. But the instruction was very specific. I want you to copy every one of these values here and paste it here. I don't want you to copy the formulas with it. Copy only these values. That is 20, 40, 60, and 80. Copy every one of them and paste it here using paste special. Only the values. If I click on each one of the cell, I don't want to see anything at their back end. I only want to see the content of the cell. That is the instruction that is given here, that paste the values. So I am going to copy the whole data. I'm going to copy the whole result that I got here. I'm going to hold down my Control and Shift and button down. It's going to select everything for me. Control Shift down arrow, and then I'm going to copy Control C. The moment you press Control C, you will see that Excel is hovering around everything that I have selected and copied. Anytime you see something like this, it means this thing is actively copied and waiting for you to paste it anywhere. You have copied it and it's waiting for you to paste it anywhere. So I am going to move to where I want to paste it to. I want to paste it to every one of these places here. It is still telling me that I need to paste. So I'm going to come to where I want to paste it. And then I'm going to now press my, don't forget our shortcut. What is our paste special shortcut?
Control Alt V.
Control Alt and V. Thank you. So I'm going to press Control Alt and V. The moment you press Control Alt and V, there is going to be a paste special pop-up now. This is the paste special pop-up. Now, the paste special pop-up is now asking you, what do you want to paste? So according to this question, what do we want to paste now?
I'm not seeing the paste special.
This is it here. Can you see it? You can't see it.
No.
Okay, you can't see it on my screen. I don't like Google. This Google guy is just funny. Why have to be sharing these things one by one? Doesn't make sense now. Oh man. Please press paste, press Control Alt and V. It is on my screen right now, but in Google, on Google Meet, you can only share one screen at a time. And this is just a pop-up on Excel now. Don't worry. I think maybe tomorrow or in our next class, I will try and consult the program coordinator if you can make use of Zoom. Zoom is better. Zoom you can project more than one screen at a time. But please, on your system, press Control, Alternate, and V. You will see the paste special pop-up. Now you can see it now, Abby. So we have paste, and under paste we have all formulas, values, formats, comments, validation, right?
Yes.
So what is the task? What did they ask us to do now? What are we asked to paste?
Just numbers alone without the values.
No, we are asked to paste the values. See, how do you paste the values? So there is nothing like number. It is not called numbers, it is called values. So just select the value under your paste. Select values under your paste and click on OK. Have you done that?
Yes.
I've done mine. And then you will see everything is pasted now. I don't know why this guy cannot share multiple screen. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair. So this is the result of the paste special. And simply because, and then you can press escape after you are done pasting. Press escape on your keyboard. Now, simply because we are asked to paste only the values. If you click on every one of these cells that you just copied and you look at the back end, you will not see the formulas there because you were specifically asked to paste only the values. And you can see, if you look at the back end here on the formula bar, we have 20. We don't have anything there, just the content. And if you come to the original post here, you will see the back end. This is how to paste the values. Please, do we understand?
Yeah.
Now, the last thing that we are going to do today is I want everybody's attention now. I want you guys to lead me on how to do this problem 1B now, and also how to paste. So do I have to call on somebody, or is there anybody that is going to call it for me? What do I need to do? You remember, the first task is to get your multiplication table, and then you will now copy everything and then paste now. So well, who is going to lead? Who is going to lead me? So that we can round up for today.
Are we using 10 to multiply everything?
Yes, we are doing the same thing that we did here. We are doing it here too. As a matter of fact, we are doing it for the problem 1C too. So you can use problem 1C to practice ahead of the class on Wednesday. So, but let's do this problem 1B first. So anybody, please, I want everybody to contribute. Don't leave me to it alone, please. This is the last thing we are going to do before we exit the class.
Okay, so we are trying to use 10 to
multiply every content of our column C. Just like we did here. You can use absolute, you can use mixed, anyone.
So you can.
I just want someone to call the formula for me.
Yeah, since 10 is what we are using to multiply, and we want 10 to be uniform as it is going down. That means we are locking the cell address of 10 because the cell address of 10 is referencing 10. if we are going to lock
Yes.
10, we are probably locking the cell reference of 10, which is D17. So $D, $17 to lock it.
So I'm going to. I just want you to call the formula for me. The way
Is
you are going
equals
to do
to
it. Okay.
$D, $17
Mhm.
times C18.
So I am going to put dollar sign behind my D17 and D and 17, right? I'm going to
Yes,
absolutely lock it right, Abby.
yes.
So I'm going to press on my F4 now. So, and then I'll hit enter. And then I can just autofill. Well, can somebody just try the mixed cell reference? What if you want to apply mixed cell referencing for this? Can you make an attempt? Anybody? Can we try? Based on the
So you were
understanding
saying
of
something about, like if, because at the end of the day, mixed cell reference will still give us the same answer. So
yes.
the one that can give us like the simplest answer.
Okay. Okay. So this is what
Yeah.
you prefer.
Yeah, like like you said, this stuff is like I like to make analogies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to make analogies like there are some footballers who like to dribble a lot, and some
Exactly.
footballers are just direct. They just attack and try and
You just
score.
shoot.
They just
Okay.
shoot,
Yeah.
So
The
like
main
let's
goal
say
is the ball to end up at the back of the net,
yes, the objective is for the
regardless
ball
of
to
how
be
it
put
gets
on.
there. All
Exactly.
right.
So
All right. So we are still going to. You can't avoid mixed cell referencing though. We are still going to be using it a lot. So we have done the first part. The second part is to now copy your Control C, and then you move to where you want to paste it to, and then you press your Control Alt V. Now this time around, what is the question asking us to do?
paste as a format.
We should paste as a format. Now, when we are pasting something as a format in Excel or any data analyzing tool for that matter, even SQL, whenever you hear format, it's talking about the painting. That is, if you are pasting the format, that is, you are copying this paint here, that is this color here, and then you are pasting it here. So by the time we are pasting, this pink guy, is this pink? Yeah, this is pink. So this pink is going to change to this gold color. That is what format is. Or even without me saying anything, you just click on format on your paste special. Please, everybody, click on format and then paste and then click on OK. Format and OK.
So it only copied it didn't copy the number, just the
Exactly.
background.
Exactly. Because this question was very specific. Paste the format. This place we were asked to paste the values, and we pasted the values, the color remained the same. This place we were asked to paste the format, and we paste the format and the color changed. So I am leaving question 1C to our charge, everybody.
How do you paste the formula?
Just attempt. Just attempt. This time around, you are meant to paste the formulas. This one is actually going to be interesting because the content we have here, the content we are multiplying here is different from the content we are multiplying here. This place we are multiplying 10 multiplied by 2. But this place we are multiplying 10 multiplied by 20. And you are going to be using paste special to paste the formulas. And by the time you paste the formulas, this thing is going to adjust itself automatically. And 10 multiplied by 20 is going to give you 200 automatically. That is the beauty of Excel. Just copy one and then the rest will do itself automatically. So is there any question before we end the class for today? And I'm sorry for taking about 7 minutes of our time. Any question?
No,
Any
like
question?
you said, like I feel like even me, like I wouldn't say I understand it completely, but I think repetition is what
Yeah.
creates understanding. When you do
Best
something
practices.
repeatedly.
It's the best practices. It's the best practice. Try. That is why I'm leaving question C in our chat. Please, the video is going to be made available to us on or before 12 p.m. tomorrow. Please watch the video and go through it. just to review everything we've done, and then interpret it to yourself the way you understand it. I know with time, I am still going to break it down to pieces for us to understand very well. So, in the absence of anybody with any question, let's say Samuel, Mustafa, and then Mr. Ayala, please. Anybody with any question before we round up the class? Okay. In the absence of no question, thank you guys very much. I'm going to see us on Wednesday, same time. If we are going to be using another tool apart from Google Meet, it's going to be communicated to us. I hope that is all right. So thank you guys very much, and have a wonderful night rest. I'll see you on Wednesday evening.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.